for this weekend. I like it. How was your Halloween? Good, all right. Guys, I'm not going to make this moment any longer because you know what's the next panel, do you?
Yeah!
All right, so I'm going to call one by one our lovely Dawn of the Dead actors. So, Mr. Scott Reiniger. Mr. Scott, come and join us. Come in. There's Gaylen. Come, sit with us. Choose your seat. Bravo! There's Mr. David Crawford. Mr. David Crawford. Mr. Leonard, live. Mr. Leonard, come and join us. Mr. Mike Christopher. Come and join us. Come and join the pack. Come in, don't be afraid. I think he's a zombie. And last but not least, Mr. Bob Michelucci. Come and join us from our stage. So first of all, welcome and thank you for being here. It is an honor to have you on our tiny stage. I think everybody is more than excited. Unfortunately, we only have 2 mics and 1 mic for the questions, so we will have to manage somehow. And my question is for the starters: what is your favorite Halloween costume? And yeah, please, Gaylen, can you start?
Oh, God. Hello? Oh, can you hear me? Yes. That's a very big question.
Can I repeat the question? Yes. What is your favorite Halloween costume?
I have heard.
Okay.
I guess being a dragon, maybe?
Not bad. Not bad.
I haven't got a costume.
No.
No.
You don't celebrate Halloween?
No.
Very good. Why not?
Little kids, but not.
Cats. Cats are evil. My dog will tell you that.
We have one.
Oh, you have me.
When I was a little kid, I dressed up like Count Dracula because I love vampires. I thought they were like the coolest thing, the coolest monster on earth. Until, of course, I discovered zombies.
Yeah. Thank you.
And
Yeah,
see, now I put the mic
well, they
on.
heard me.
So you didn't hear because he stole mine. Mine was vampires too. So, and especially after Tom Savini made me my own fangs, I really had fun with that.
Nice.
When I first moved to Florida from Los Angeles in 1996, I stayed at my my parents' house, and they lived in a real suburban residential area. So I decided to dress up for Halloween. It's the first time I really dressed up for Halloween. I was the Invisible Man. I went to the drugstore and got a bunch of gauze and wrapped my fingers and my head and my face and put on a hat, a pair of sunglasses, and a jacket. And I came to the door to pass out candy, and the kids were freaked out. And a lot of them just left and went away. So a couple days later, I met a couple of the neighbors. They were really mad. I can't believe what you did on Halloween. I said, what did I do? They said, you scared all the kids.
That's the point.
Yeah, I know, right.
So that was the most successful one, I guess.
Yeah, that's my favorite Halloween costume, is the Invisible Man.
All right. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Audience, do you have questions? Yes. Can you help me?
Who was it? The financial guy. So first of all, thanks for coming, guys. I really, the whole Dawn family, appreciates it that you guys came here to Germany. I myself came 1,000 kilometers. I traveled 1,000 kilometers from Austria to see you guys. I saw some guys from the UK back there.
Yeah.
As well. So, back to the question. A question to the whole crew. The alternate ending, where you stick your head in the helicopter. Oops, yeah. You were pregnant, you.
Yeah,
Come on.
it was so sad.
Okay. No, but Tom Savini said that the ending was shot. Romero or George denied this. So
It was shot.
it was shot.
Yeah, George didn't deny. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was shot. No, George didn't deny it. It's just that we didn't. I don't think they kept the ending on film. I don't know what happened, but we actually shot it. And George's idea was that none of us survive. So Peter shoots himself, and then I put my head through the helicopter blade, and that's the very sad ending of the film. And then George said, we can't do that. That's too sad. So then he changed it, and then I get away. And then we used the head. Tom Savini used the head in another effect. So I think it was in either the mall or the project, some head blew up and it was mine. So we don't waste anything in the film. Nothing was wasted.
Is anyone having the material from this shot?
No, that's what disappeared, I think. That footage. That was too bad. Maybe someday it'll come out.
Let's hope for it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Guys, if you have questions, just put your hands up, okay? Because we need to manage the one microphone limit.
Good to have you guys over here in Germany.
Thank
Let's
you.
see, many years later, in my opinion, an excellent remake has been made, Dawn of the Dead. Have you seen that one, and what's your view on that one?
Who wants the mic? You take it. You got a mic over there.
Go ahead. Well, you know what? I just saw it the other night, and I didn't like it at first because it was a remake, sort of, you know. And then the other night, I just put on a movie without being judgmental, and I really enjoyed it. And you know, because the thing people kept saying at the beginning was, "Oh, it has really great production values," but the Dawn fans were really upset with the fact that it was made. And I'm also a Dawn fan. I love the film as well as having been involved with it. So anyway, long story short, I really liked the energy of the film. I liked the acting. The actors were terrific. I loved the editing. It was weird because at the end of the film, they didn't show the remaining survivors being killed, and they were killed in the original version. So I guess it was for TV time. So they actually got away in the boat. So, you know, I like it more now than I did when it first came out. I think it's worth a look, and I think it's kind of true to the spirit of the zombies, outside of the fact that they're all marathon runners. Okay.
I personally don't think it's a remake, but as far as the horror movie goes, I think it's pretty good. I enjoyed the parts with the where they're communicating across to a different building. I really enjoyed that. That was a unique effect in there. But taking the SWAT guys and making them into mall cops was just atrocious. I mean, I just in a remake that really is the low point of the movie for me. My wife thinks the movie should have been called Dead by Dawn. You know, I mean, it's like a nod to Dawn of the Dead, but to call it a Dawn of the Dead remake, I think it really does injustice to the original, and also sets a weird standard, you know, for the movie itself. And the thing with the baby zombie was hideous. So people that like hideous stuff, definitely that'll turn you on. But I thought that was a bit much.
I would just add. I would just add. I'm no fan of the film, and I don't think it was. I don't think in any way it was a tribute to George, or the beauty. And George didn't direct it. There's a reason that Dawn of the Dead has survived how many decades now? And look at you, none of you were born when this film was made, I mean, mostly. And the reason is because George understood how to tell story. He understood how to tell character. He understood about humor. I mean, even the zombies, you laugh in different parts because you start to care about the zombies and what happens to them. And that was not in the remake of the film. And I think that for George, the films that most followed what he was trying to do, if you were to ask him, it would be Shaun of the Dead. It would be, I think what Jordan Peele is now doing is a tribute to George and what Tarantino did, but not the remake. I mean, George wanted nothing to do with it, and I understand why.
Thank you.
It's kind of.
I didn't, film didn't bother me whatsoever, because it was so different from the original. And the thing that I liked that they didn't do, tried to emulate George Romero's humor. Because if they tried to do that, that would have been a mistake, because how do you do that, right? Interesting though, the producer, when I met him the first day I was there, he was so great, he was kind of nervous, and he said to me, he said, you know, I'm really concerned, you know, that George is not offended by this film. And he really meant it. And he was acting, I asked him, so how did you come to be doing this? And he said, since I was 16, I always wanted to remake the movie, right? And said, here we are today doing it. So just a people level, I thought the guys were terrific. And Zack Snyder was terrific. You know, that's about it.
Thank you. Anybody has an opinion about the remake as well? Nope.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
If you like really great zombie films and you haven't seen it yet, Train to Busan. It's a Korean film. And that's Korean. I'd like to be in that film, playing a human. I mean, you know, whatever. I mean, just I've watched it about 3 times, and I love the characters and the story. Just sort of jumping ahead into the future a little bit. I think that's where it's going. Anyway, that's it.
Thank you. There's a question here.
Unfortunately, several of the crew members passed away already and way too soon. And I've got one particular in my mind, Joseph Pilato, who had only a small role in that movie, but perhaps you can tell how that guy was, and perhaps you have a particular story to tell about him.
I worked with Joe Pilato in Pittsburgh when he was a student. We both worked for the Three Rivers Shakespeare Festival, and he was a terrific Shakespearean actor. I don't understand how he came so far uphill from Shakespeare to zombies. It's quite a journey, but he did both equally well. I was proud to know him and happy to see his work on the screen.
I didn't know him in the same way that David did, but I knew Joe sort of personally because we did some experimental films way back in the 70s, and he was involved in a tertiary way. And the last time I really talked to him was about 6 years ago at a German convention here, right? And Joe was next to me at the table, and I think he was kind of done with LA mentally. He was sort of drained. And he said, listen, if you're doing anything in Pittsburgh, I would really love to just do a film in Pittsburgh and kind of hang out with the people again, the humans again. And I had these funny skeleton ties, and I gave him a tie, and he gave me a photo, and we were just kind of talking like two people that hadn't seen each other for a long time. And I realized how Joe, I felt like he had a feeling to want to be home again, which was, in essence, Pittsburgh as an actor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. There's a question? Yeah, go for it.
So what was the most fun thing on the set of Dawn After That, or your personal most fun experience you had? And the second question is, how many times did you see the movie by yourself?
It was like 95% fun. All the time. Oh yeah, long hours, of course. It was very strange being in the mall all night long. I remember the first day that we were shooting in the mall. We came out, with the guns and all that business. And there were two people that were exiting because they were going to shut the mall down. And they turned around and they looked like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? And for me, it was particularly fun. All of it, because it was such a collaborative thing, was sliding down the escalator.
Yeah.
Right? And because it says in the script, Roger runs down the escalator. And I saw it and I said, George, what if I slide down the middle of the escalator? He goes, what? I said, I can slide down. I said, just have somebody at the bottom catch me so I don't break my back, And that's how that happened. But now they put knobs there, so it's very excruciating if you try it. So I wouldn't do that, okay? But we had a wonderful time, no doubt.
Thank you.
I think one of, when Scott's talking about the mall, it was always very funny because the mall, we would finish working, I think, 6 a.m., something, and then the music would come up. So we had to stop working because the mall went back into business. But at night, we had complete run of the mall, so we could walk into any store and do anything we wanted. Nobody knew where we were. We were just everywhere in the mall. And zombies and blood and motorcyclists, and it was like chaos. But the funny thing was at 6 a.m. the music would come, and then people in Pittsburgh, older people I guess, they would come to the mall to walk and do exercise because there was so much snow and ice in Pittsburgh, so the mall was a nice safe place to walk. So the zombies would go home at 6 a.m. back to makeup, and many of them would keep their makeup on because they liked wearing it, so they'd go to work with their makeup in their faces. And then we would go home, and so I saw all these older people coming and just walking, and I thought they were zombies. And I said, no, the film is over. You can go home now. And they looked at, and then I realized, oh my God, these are real people. But that was what was so brilliant about George, was that the idea of people walking in a mall could be zombies at any time. That's how we sort of are. And so that was the real life meets film moment.
I think I had the most fun in rehearsal. David Early and I worked together on stage. We were cast because George saw us working together in a play. So when we got these roles, we approached it as we would a stage role. We got together and we rehearsed. And we had fun together. We do things like, David would say to me, hey, it's not official squads of the National Guard, it's organized squad. Get it right. And I would say, hey, David, it's sounding thin. Bring it from center, bring it full and rich and powerful. We would hector each other like that, but with a great deal of affection and respect for each other. And it was fun to get that scene together.
Thank you.
Boy, it seemed like everything was fun. Oh, by the way, a lot of those people that walked around the mall that Gaylen was talking about, a lot of them were heart patients.
Yes.
So they were recuperating. So think about that. Just let that wind through your mind a little bit. They were just like months away from having had a heart attack.
There we were. And then
So, I always thought that was sort of, amusing. There was, I was one of the grips on the crew, and we used to do funny things to each other because, the nights were really long. And so one night we were waiting for the actors, and we were in this room called the community room where we would meet each night to kind of set up what we were going to do. And so one night, Cliff Forrest, one of the other grips, he just laid on the floor. He was just so tired he laid on the floor, and he said, Lenny, do me a favor, if they call us, just make sure I wake up. I said, don't worry about it, I'm here. So I just got this idea in my mind. We have this tape, we used to tape everything, it's called gaffer tape, and it's really strong. So I went over to Cliff and I started wrapping his feet all the way up to his legs, up to his hip. And I wrapped him all the way up to his arms, and he was like dead asleep. So because we were bored, we were kind of waiting. Not that we weren't working all night. It was just one of those moments. And I was just so tired from having not slept for a long time. So I wait and Cliff, come on, it's time to go. And he's like, Lenny, I'm gonna get you. I was like, how are you gonna get me? You're wrapped up, baby. So like we would do silly things like that, you know. And for me, one of the coolest things was when David breaks through the wall as a zombie, and he's like literally chewing on the wall with his real teeth. And he goes, man, I think I just like broke a tooth or something. And like the actors were great because they would like want to just give it everything they had. And it was great sort of like being back here, enjoying it. Like it wasn't funny, it was just wonderful seeing them love their craft and become the actual characters instead of like some kind of cardboard character.
Thank you.
Well, the fun for me was that I wasn't an actor. So I was publishing books and magazines at the time, and my offices happened to be on the first floor of the same building that George's were up on the 5th floor. So we got to be good friends, and I also knew Tom Savini. So I got to do more than just the zombie part. But they said to my crew that they were going to need a little zombies. So about 10 of us went out and got made up. And I guess because I knew the guys, I got to be a special zombie. And most of the other people, including my wife, ended up on the cutting room floor. But I also was lucky enough to design and publish the Dawn of the Dead poster book. And also, we did a lot of the labels that were put on the products in pennies, like around the jars and around different packaging, because they weren't allowed to show the actual product names. And so we produced a lot of that behind the scenes stuff. And then I was able to go out on another night and play a different zombie in a different scene outside with the bikers. So it was fun for me to be just a part of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't actually spend a lot of time at the mall. The scenes that I did I was way down there, and George and the camera was way at the other end. There was a lot of long establishing shots of me walking around the mall. But the funnest experience I had was trying to get into character. I was a musician at that time, and the band I was in, named Fluid, did a theatrical space-themed presentation along with our music. So I already had the bald head, which is, I guess, what gave George the idea of turning me into a Hare Krishna. So not being an actor and not really seeing a script or talking to anybody, I wasn't sure how I was going to get into character for this. I had the robe and stuff on, and so I was walking around the mall waiting for one of the long shots, establishing shots to happen. There was a security guard there. So I walked up to him and I said, "Hey man, you want to buy some incense?" Because the Hare Krishnas would give you a piece of incense, and it was supposed to be free, but once you accepted the incense, then they would ask for a donation. So he said, "Oh man, I leave my wallet in my locker. I don't carry it with me because if I'm chasing somebody and I lose my wallet, I'll never find it again." I said, "Oh, come on, man, it's just $1, He says, "No, really, I don't have my wallet with me. I leave it in my locker." And he explained the story again. I said, "Look, man," I started getting abusive. I said, "Look, man, you have a job. I know you have $1. He goes, "No, really, I don't have my wallet on me." I said, "Oh, you people are all alike." And I turned around, I walked, and I stormed off. And then he started following me through the mall going, "No, really, I want your incense. I really want your incense, but I don't have any money on me." And I just gave him some dirty looks and walked off. It was funny because the Hare Krishnas on the street would try to get you to give them money for their incense, and then they would, if you fell for that, then they have their Bible is called the Bhagavad Gita, and they would give you a copy of that. Oh, it's free, and then if you take it, then they want $20 for it. And if you didn't give them the money, you just walked away with it, then it'd follow you down the street trying to get the money from you. Oh, I turned the tables on the whole process, and I had the security guard following me trying to give me the money. So I figured, I guess I would be convincing zombie.
I would just add, you know, it's funny, I realized that George didn't mind if I killed the Hare Krishna, but he did mind if I killed the nun. That was bad, because I realized, you know, George was very Catholic, even though you wouldn't think that, but he was. And he played a priest in Martin. I don't know if you all saw Martin. I mean, he plays a priest who drinks a little bit, you know. But, what?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. So George had these more. Anyway, so when the zombie nun was there and caught, her garment was caught in the penny store, I said, oh, okay, so I'll let her go and then I'm going to shoot her in the head. And George said, no, 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 you can't do that. And I said, but she's dead. She's a zombie. He goes, no, but she's a nun. So he said, you have to let her go, but not the Hare Krishna.
No mercy for Hare Krishna.
No.
Something just occurred to me. Do you remember the scene in the project in the basement, and all the zombies are eating each other?
Yeah.
Well, I'll never forget. And we're called to the set, and Kenny and I, and we go down there, and it was so disgusting. I said, George, this is really disgusting. I know. And then he just smiled and went, I know.
Guys, so we have another question, because that's the all time that we have. That's going to be the last question, unfortunately.
This one goes for Mrs. Ross. So the scene where you do this lot of makeup, trying to pass the time, you're playing with a revolver. What do you think when you remember this scene? Did you really like it? And yeah.
Yeah, it was all the guys had their own scene. I think you went to the deli, and all the guys were doing something fun in the mall. And I said, what is she gonna do? And so we were shopping a little bit, and then I came up with the makeup scene. So I thought, you know,
it was pretty much makeup.
A lot of makeup, a lot of makeup, and then George was gonna cut it. You know, George was gonna cut it, and I remember having a long conversation with George. You know, don't cut that moment, because it was like a fantasy. I think, you know, it was fun. It was so soft.
Thanks for keeping this in.
Thank you so much. Guys, unfortunately, that's the whole time that we have for this panel. You can see everybody at their signing booths, and there's going to be a photo session as well. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank
You lead the way.